So good morning. This is optical fiber communication DET 3202 course outcomes. The students will be able to understand different communication media, various blocks and applications of optical fiber communication system. Students will be able to understand the optics rules and measure the optical fiber cable parameters. Students will be able to identify suitable optical source for given application. Students will be able to identify optical detector for a given application. Students will be able to identify suitable connector and measure the losses in the optical fiber cable. Students will be able to understand the architecture of the optical networks for a given application. So we are on st slide, and we have seen the optical network, need of optical network. Then we have started the optical amplifiers. Two types of the optical amplifiers are there: semiconductor optical amplifier and fiber optical amplifier. So in semiconductor optical amplifier, the laser stimulated emission mechanism is used, laser mechanism. And in case of fiber application optical amplifiers, the Raman and Brillouin scattering effect as well as the erbidium doped fiber amplifiers are there. So out of these amplifiers, the semiconductor optical fiber amplifier, erbidium doped optical fiber amplifier EDFA, and Raman fiber amplifier all provide wide spectral bandwidth, isn't it? From this graph, all provide the wide spectral bandwidth. Raman semiconductor optical amplifier, you can check the Brillouin amplifier, you can check the erbidium doped fiber amplifier, which is having the highest gain also, gain bandwidth characteristics, highest gain bandwidth characteristic. And Raman optical amplifier and parametric amplifier is also having quite large bandwidth. But if you check the Brillouin amplifier, then Brillouin amplifier is having very small bandwidth, 50 megahertz. So only Brillouin amplifier is a small bandwidth amplifier. So semiconductor optical amplifier, erbidium doped amplifier and Raman amplifier are wide spectral bandwidths. They are all having wide spectral bandwidths. Hence these optical amplifiers can be used for wavelength division multiplexing also, WDM, because wavelength division multiplexing, multiple wavelengths are simultaneously propagating and they are transmitted over the same cable. So simultaneously all can be amplified. Okay. So by contrast, opposite to that, the Brillouin fiber amplifier has a very narrow spectral bandwidth. From graph also we have checked, possibly 50 megahertz or so. Therefore, it cannot be employed for wideband amplification. So Brillouin amplifiers are used for channel selection, isn't it? Yesterday we have discussed this. In now in short again I will tell you, channel selection is filtering. Channel selection is nothing but filtering. How it does the filtering, channel selection? Because it selectively amplifies the wavelength. It amplifies very small bandwidth, 50 megahertz, and if it is tuned for particular wavelength, it can amplify that particular wavelength and 50 megahertz around it, and no other wavelengths or bandwidth is amplified by this. So all other wavelengths which are present in the WDM, they cannot be supported, amplified. Therefore it can be same as filtering other wavelengths, filtering other channels, filtering out other channels and selecting only one channel. So that's why it is called channel selection within WDM system, by allowing the amplification of the particular channel without boosting any nearby channel. So if multiple channels are there like this, one channel, second channel, third channel, fourth channel, fifth channel, and they are having their own lambda 3, lambda 2 lambda 1, okay, lambda 0, etc. Then if suppose for lambda 2 it is tuned, then it can amplify only this 50 megahertz, and remaining all it will not amplify because it is having very small bandwidth to amplify. So all these remaining lambda 0, lambda 1, lambda 3, they are discarded, they are not supported, they are not amplified. So it will give only lambda 2 output. So from all the channels it only selects one. So that's why it is called selective response, or it is called filtering. So Boolean amplifier is used for channel selection within the WDM system. So it is very good for good application because it is required. We are mixing channel in the wavelength division multiplexing, but how to select it, demultiplex it? So it is very easy way. It is amplifying, at the same time it is selecting also. So different tuning of different Boolean amplifiers can be done for different subscribers. So according to their wavelength to be transmitted or connected. And whereas semiconductor optical amplifiers, SOA, exhibit low power consumption. This is the advantage or peculiar characteristic of the SOA, that is semiconductor optical amplifier. Their single mode waveguide structure make them particularly appropriate for use in the single mode fiber. Okay, their waveguide structure is SOA, waveguide structure is single mode, so they are appropriately used in particularly in single mode fibers. Okay, so this we have seen yesterday. Now SOA is a fiber amplifiers which present fewer problems of compatibility for inline interconnection within the optical fiber links. Okay, so it is a fiber amplifier which presents very fewer problems. Okay, SOA of compatibility for inline interconnection. Okay, so all these problems it offers very less. Okay, so that's why it is very useful, we can say. So at present SOA are most developed optical amplifier, generic type, but research is into fiber amplifiers has also made rapid progress. Okay, so this is important. Continuously progress is going on, and there are changes in the amplifiers region also, amplifier field also, along with all other fields. So optical amplifiers, the most practical optical amplifiers to date are SOA and EDFA type. Okay, so these are most practical amplifiers. As far as the the networks are considered, wideband amplification, SOA and EDFA, erbidium doped fiber amplifiers. So one is semiconductor amplifier, second is the fiber amplifier. So new pumping methods and materials are also improving the performance of Raman amplifier. So Raman amplifier is also under the growth, under the research. So SOA, FD and Raman amplifiers are for the trunk network, but for other applications like channel selection, filtering, etc., the Boolean amplifier is also there. So this is the optical amplifier, general form of an optical amplifier. This is the block diagram. So optical signal in is there in this fiber. Then signal is weak, input signal is weak, suppose. So this weak signal is fed to optical amplifier medium. Optical amplifying medium is provided pump power. This is optical power, laser power only, optical power. So it is having the optical input, optical signal, and pump signal, that is optical only. So this medium makes the population inversion with the help of pump power, and this photons will be then get multiplied due to the stimulated emission. As we know, photons are present in the medium, or we can say the Fabry-Perot cavity we have seen in the laser, isn't it? Third chapter. Then that Fabry-Perot cavity has a property that any photon which is interacting with the populated inverted environment, that is the high energy state atom, then that external photon which interacts will extract the amount of energy from the atomic structure equal to band gap energy, and that interacting photon must be of band gap energy, same energy. So this material is tuned with that wavelength. Okay, then that photon is released from the energy is released from the atomic structure in the form of photon, and atomic structure goes to the lower energy state, and this one stimulating photon and one more stimulated photon, both are in phase, in same direction, in time and space coherence with the same wavelength, are then further traveling, and while further traveling these two again will stimulate two more atomic structures, and this multiplication goes on for all the time. So this is called stimulated emission of the environment, and in this way the amplification is achieved. So whatever the 100 number of photons weak signal is providing, all 100 photons will be multiplied by 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, and 1000 photons will be there. So this is amplification, and we get the amplified signal, okay, at the output signal, and this is provided further to the output fiber. So this is optical amplifier. Okay, so there is no optical to electrical, electrical to optical conversion, so it is easier. Okay, so optical amplifiers in which the semiconductor optical amplifier, just we have checked, that is stimulated emission type of the amplifier. Semiconductor material environment is creating the stimulated emission effect. So these are the semiconductor optical amplifiers. Okay, so characteristics of the SOA types are polarization depend on the required polarization, maintaining the fiber, so it is very much matched with the fiber, so no disturbance of the original signal is created in terms of polarization, and relatively high gain is achieved, 20 dB. 20 dB is very, very high gain. Okay, so if one signal is multiplied by 3, it is 9 or something dB. It is multiplied by 5 times, 9 times, 10 times. Okay, so output saturation power is 5 to 10 dBm, but the saturation power is 5 to 10 dBm, that is dB per milliwatt. So large bandwidth can be achieved. Large bandwidth is the one of the feature, and can operate at 800, 1300, 1500 nanometer wavelength regions. Okay, so compact and easily integrated with the other devices. So in the fiber link systems there are many devices, so it can be integrated with overall system very easily, because it is a semiconductor device, and its compatibility it can have, so that compact size is also there. So compatibility, compact size can make it easily integrated with the other devices. Okay, it can be easily integrated with other devices. So it can be integrated into arrays. Okay, it can be integrated into arrays. So if multiple channels are there, multiple fibers are there, so it can be integrated into arrays. High noise figure is achieved. Okay, signal to noise ratio and noise figure, these are the measuring parameters for noise introduced in the signals. Okay, so noise figure is higher means it is a better. Noise signal to noise ratio is higher means it is better. Noise is less. Noise figure is higher means noise is less. High noise figure can be achieved. And crosstalk levels due to non-linear phenomena. Crosstalk we have discussed, isn't it, in very first point. And crosstalk is known to you from digital technique, digital signals, digital communication also. So crosstalk in advantage we have discussed, because it is optical fiber is not radiating anything out. So from one fiber to other fiber, no signal can be get connected, and from one medium to other medium, if the signal get connected, it is called crosstalk. It is appearing in the electrical wires, electrical cables and PCB tracks, okay, copper tracks, but it is not observed in the optical fiber. So as it is optical medium and optical semiconductor device, it offers high noise figure and crosstalk levels due to non-linear phenomena as four-wave mixing, etc. is least. Okay. So it restricts some crosstalk phenomena after four-wave mixing is offered, and it restricts the use of SOA in that case, though it is less for one or two. That's why it is for single mode operation. Okay. If one or two modes and after that it is used, then four-wave mixing or more, then that there will be crosstalk levels sufficiently high to care for. So the crosstalk levels can be there, crosstalks will be there after four-wave mixing or two-wave or four-wave or multiple times of wave. But for single mode it is very good. Okay. So it is having the high noise figure, no doubt, but it is also having the crosstalk levels. That's why the four-wave mixing amplification is not used, this SOA is not used in that application. That is the only the limitation that we must remember. So it is used in the single mode type of the fibers. So characteristic in which the polarization dependent, it is polarization dependent, require polarization maintaining fiber, and that's why it requires the polarization density. So polarization maintaining fiber is there. So this is also to be taken care of, and polarizing maintaining fiber is there, then only this is used. Relatively high gain is there, it is providing 20 dB, output saturation power is 5 to 10 dBm. It is providing large bandwidth and can operate on 800, 1300, 1500 nanometers wavelengths. These are important wavelengths for in the communication. Compact and easily integrated with other devices. It can integrate into the arrays. It offers very high noise figure, and crosstalk levels are also there. So it can have, it is having the limitation of multiple wave mixing, four-wave mixing or like that. So optical amplifier, semiconductor optical amplifier, SOA, its block diagram, semiconductor optical amplifiers block diagram. So just we have checked the same is there. Weak signal is inputted, and this is Fabry-Perot cavity. It is, isn't it? So there is anti-reflective coating maintained on both the sides, where signal is inputted and where signal is getting out from the medium. Okay. So whenever it is traveling through the semiconductor cavity, Fabry-Perot cavity, this cavity is populated inverted cavity, isn't it? Population inverted cavity. So what it does in this population inverted state is the laser action, that is the multiplication process. Light amplification by stimulated emission of the radiation. Laser action takes place if it is population inverted. Population inversion means what? In thermal equilibrium, normal equilibrium, the number of high state atoms are very less as compared to number of low state atoms. But in population inversion, external energy is pumped like electrical drive current or optical current. Here the electrical drive current is used for this amplifier. So SOA is running on electrical. SOA can work on the purely optical signal also. Pumping is also optical. but SOE is also can run on electrical drive. So this pump, electrical pump is used, and this provides the energy to take large number of atomic structures from lower energy state to higher energy state. That's why population inversion will have now the inverted population from the equilibrium. This is non-equilibrium. In equilibrium case, high energy state atomic numbers, number of atoms are less, and here the higher state energy number of atoms are more, and lower state energy number of atoms are less. So no, atoms which are in lower state are less in number, and atoms which are in higher state will be large in number. So as the atoms in the higher state are large in number, there will be large transition from higher to lower state, and this transition gives the amplified number of photons. Okay, so this is happening as a stimulated emission, that is laser action. Okay, so amplified signal will be achieved as the output signal, and this is the functioning of optical amplifiers, SOA, semiconductor optical amplifiers. Weak signal is inputted, there is a medium which is fabriparate cavity, semiconductor cavity, which can have the population inversion with help of external pumping. Here the electrical drive current which is used as a pump, which pumps the energy into the material, and the material goes into population inversion, and high energy state number of atoms are very large, and anti-reflective coatings are provided so that weak optical signal can be coupled from fiber to the cavity and from cavity to the next fiber. And this is the working of the optical fiber amplifiers. So semiconductor optical fiber amplifiers, SOA is similar to the laser cavity, isn't it? It is very same as laser cavity. It is nothing but laser cavity. It is nothing but laser cavity. So SOA is used as a discrete amplifiers. Okay, SOA is used as a discrete amplifiers. So SOA can be integrated into array of amplifying, switching and gating devices. Okay, array of amplifier can, as an array of amplifier it can be used, as it is discrete amplifiers. In the array of amplifiers, amplifying, switching and gating devices, it can be used. So SOA are finding application in all optical regeneration system. Okay, so all the optical regeneration systems, it is finding the applications. Okay, so it is a laser cavity, and it can used as a discrete. It is used as a discrete amplifiers. So for discretely for all the channels, and thereby it can be integrated into arrays of amplifying, switching, gating devices, and it is finding application in regeneration systems, optical regeneration systems. Okay, so to amplify the weak signal into the better signal, okay, strong signal in the regeneration systems. So we have seen, we have checked out, we have discussed this all regeneration is many times. So rare earth doped fiber amplifier. Okay, rare earth doped fiber amplifiers. So this is EDFA, rare earth doped fiber amplifier, EDFA. So rare earth doped fiber amplifiers are finding increasing importance in the optical communication. This is also finding the increasing importance. Perhaps most important version is erbidium doped fiber amplifier. EDFA is most important. So other rare earth metals are also doped, and those fibers are available, but most important is erbidium doped fiber amplifier. Due to their ability to amplify signal as low as 1.55 micrometer, mu is missing here, isn't it? 1.55 micrometer wavelength range. So Erbidium doped amplifier are mostly used, and their ability is there to amplify the signal as low as 1.55 micrometer, okay, 50 and 50 nanometer. So this is the block diagram for the general EDFA amplifier configuration. So in this general EDFA amplifier configuration, you can check the weak signal input is there, whatever the pulse amplitude, very small pulse amplitude is inputted from this fiber, and this fiber is connected to the system which is having the EDFA, that is erbidium doped fiber amplifier. So this is fiber amplifier. So external fiber to the original fiber, external fiber is connected parallelly, and this external fiber which is having erbidium doping in it, that fiber is having erbidium doping inside it, and this fiber, external fiber, auxiliary fiber connected, will amplify the signal, and then it return to the original fiber. So in this case there is a coupler which couples the original signal, weak input signal, and the pump laser. Okay, 980 to 1480 pump laser, 980 nanometer or 1480 nanometer pump laser is there, and that optical energy is through isolator connected to coupler. Isolator isolates this energy returning back through the coupler by backscattering to the pump. So pump will remain intact, it will not receive any of the disturbing signal. So isolator is there, isolator will only forward this pump output to the coupler. So coupler is having the pump signal as well as the weak input signal, which should to be amplified. So this coupler couples both, mix both, and it is offering it to the EDFA fiber, so erbidium doped fiber, and this erbidium doped fiber is having again the amplification with the help of this external pump energy. It offers uses this external pump energy and amplifies the weak signal and multiplies it into multiple number of same photons. So it amplifies the signal, and then it is passed through narrow band filter to filter out any noise additions, and also the pump signal which is present in this fiber, and this narrow band filter which is only for the signal will be sorry, only for the signal filtering is there, and that filters out the signal, and amplified output will be available. So rare earth doped filter amplifiers, that is EDFA, is having the weak signal input, and it is coupled to the coupler which is already having the pump laser input of, let's say, 980 nanometer or 1480 nanometer coming through the isolator, and this couples both the energy signals together to EDFA, and EDFA amplifies it, okay, and EDFA is erbidium doped fiber amplifier. So this amplifies it with the mechanism of emission, stimulated emissions, and it gives it to the filter, which filters out the unwanted optical energy wavelengths and gives only the signal wavelength which is amplified, multiplied. So this is the amplifier output in the EDFA signal. So it is not a device, it is a fiber, and for some distance it will run for amplification purpose, and then there will be filter and it will give the strong amplified signal. Here also, though there is no conversion of optical to electrical, electrical to optical, so it will not having any efficiency problems, and it is better as it is purely optical type of the system, for better to for operating in the optical fiber link. So rare earth doped amplifiers, EDFAs, are having advantage like high power transfer efficiency there from the pump to the signal, more than 50%. and wide spectral band amplification is there. Bandwidth amplification is very large, wide spectral band amplification with relative flat gain more than 20 dB. Okay, so for full complete spectral band, it is relatively very flat gain is there. That is important. So same gain should be there for first wavelength to the last wavelength in the bandwidth. So relatively very flat gain is provided for very wide spectral amplification. So that's why it is useful for WDM applications. So within that very wide spectral band, we can put many wavelengths for of many channels for having the wavelength division multiplexing WDM applications. And saturation output is more than 1 milliwatt, that is 10 to 25 dBm. So for 1 dBm is dB per milliwatt. So advantage of EBDM it is, and that is high power efficiency there, wide spectral band, and saturation output is more than 1 milliwatt. So advantages continued. The gain time constant is long, that is more than 100 milliseconds to overcome the patterning effect and intermodulation distortions, that is low noise. So gain time constant sufficiently large is there. So for large time it is providing the process. So there is whatever the effect of patterning and intermodulation distortion are there, they are overcome, and these patterning effect and intermodulation in distortion are coming as a noise, and they are overcome in this very long time amplification process. It is having large dynamic range, obviously, because bandwidth, spectral bandwidth is less large, so dynamic range is also large. So low noise figure is there. So as it is overcoming the noises, noise figure is improved. Polarization dependent it is also. It is also polarization dependent and suitable for long haul applications. It is very suitable for long haul applications. Obviously, as in advantages many times we have discussed, so this amplification is suitable for long haul applications. But disadvantages are there, one or two, three disadvantages of EDFA. Relatively large device, this device is relatively large devices, that is a kilometer length of fiber is required. So as we have seen, it is not a device, it is a fiber of say few kilometers, 1 kilometer or so. A kilometer length of fiber is required, relatively large devices there, and not easily integrated with other devices. So as in SOA, it is very compact and it is very easily integrated with the other devices. It is the unique, it is the feature or advantage of SOA. Semiconductor optical amplifier has this advantage, or this is feature of the SOA, which is not there in the EDFA. It is becoming disadvantage of EDFA. Relatively large device in kilometer length fiber, and it is not easily integrated with the other devices. So ASE, amplified spontaneous emission, that is ASE, amplified spontaneous emission. There is always some output even with no signal. Spontaneous emission is there. Okay. So spontaneous emission, due to that there is always some output even though no signal is there. Signal is not present, input signal, but some output is available. That is due to the spontaneous emission. This pumping creates the spontaneous emission. The inverted, population inverted, automatically transits from higher energy state to lower energy state. It is called spontaneous emission. So this we have discussed already in third chapter. So some excitation of ions in the fiber, spontaneous noise is created. So ASE, amplified spontaneous emission, is there. ASE is there. There is always some output even with no input signal due to some excitation of ions in the fiber, that is spontaneous noise. So spontaneous emission process we have discussed in third chapter. So there is a crosstalk effect. Crosstalk we have discussed in first chapter, advantages, first point. crosstalk effects is there, and gain saturation effects is also there. So after the particular level of gain, there is a saturation. After that, gain will not increase even though the pumping is increased. So gain will be increasing, will not increase. So this is a gain saturation. So these are the disadvantages. A relatively large device, that is length in kilometers, not easily integrated with the other device. Second is the amplifier spontaneous emission, ASE is observed, and there is always some output with no input signal, which is called ASE. Due to some excitation of the ions in the fiber, it is spontaneous emission. Due to spontaneous emission, amplified spontaneous emission is there, ASE. There is a crosstalk effect observed, and there is a gain saturation effect. After certain level of the pumping, there will not be increasing the gain. So basic EDFA amplifier characteristics, in which optical gain, if you consider, rare earth doped optical amplifiers work much like a laser. Again, it is working much like a laser. That is, the lasing operation is there. Light amplification by stimulated emission of lasing radiation. Light amplification of stimulated emission of radiation. So this in detail we have discussed in third chapter, laser action, isn't it? So rare earth doped optical amplifiers work much like a laser. The primary difference is that they do not have a resonator. So even though they are having laser action, but they are not having resonator. Fabry-Perot resonator is not there. It is appearing in the fiber. It is rare earth doped fiber amplifier. It is fiber amplifier. So the primary difference is that that is the laser action, do not have resonator for laser action. The EDFAs do not have resonator. So laser action is taking place into EDFA, that is fiber. So this is the primary difference. Then amplification occurs primarily through stimulated emission process. Obviously the laser action is there, so amplification occurs primarily through stimulated emission, isn't it? So amplification is through stimulated emission, and stimulated emission amplification, that is laser amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, we have discussed it. So this amplification occurs primarily through stimulated emission. This is the gain provision, okay, or gain feature we can say. Then medium is pumped until the population inversion state is achieved. So it is there in the environment of population inversion is created. Population inversion is created in the material so that the higher energy state atoms will have more population, more number than the lower energy state number of atoms, and this is achieved with the help of pumping. The medium is pumped with the energy. This energy pumping is either electrical or optical or any energy. So here it is, optical pumping is very easy because it is a fiber, we cannot connect the electrical pumping to it. It is not semiconductor device. So in SOA you can connect optical energy or you can connect the electrical energy. SOA can be biased, semiconductor devices can be biased with the electrical energy, and pumping can be achieved. But this is fiber, you cannot bias or you cannot connect the voltage to the fiber. So electrical pumping is not possible, and here the optical pumping is used. Basically medium is pumped until the population inversion state is achieved, and pump powers are typically several 20 to 250 milliwatts. So quite high power is used, and it is coupled through the isolator. Okay. So this is the optical gain and of EDFA, and isolator is used to reduce the reflections at the input to the amplifier. Okay. So input reflections are reduced by isolator. Isolator isolates the input signal from the amplifier. Then narrowband optical filter is used to reduce the transmission of amplified spontaneous emission frequency components. So there is a emission of amplified spontaneous components, that is ASE is there. ASE means amplified spontaneous emission. So there is amplified spontaneous emission frequency components are there. So a narrowband optical filter is used to reduce the transmission of amplified spontaneous emission frequency components. So these amplified spontaneous emission frequency components may be the wide spectral components or wide spectral components, and they are cut down, they are filtered out with the help of the narrowband optical filter. After amplification, whenever signal is connected to further propagation, signal is passed through narrowband filter. We have seen in the block diagram just now. So this narrowband optical filter passes the signal and blocks, that is filters out the unnecessary components like these amplified spontaneous emission frequency components or wavelength components, we can say. The resultant optical gain depends both on optical frequency and local beam intensity within the amplifier section. The gain achieved depends both on optical frequency in use, which is the amplified one, getting amplified, and local beam intensity within the amplifier section. How much is the beam intensity, that is the pumping is there, but you cannot increase the pumping because it is having saturation. After certain amount of pumping, it will not increase the gain. So there is no necessity of or no use of the enhancing or increasing the pumping energy. So this is the limitation. So resultant optical gain depends both on optical frequency and local beam intensity, okay, within the amplifier section. Then there is a WDM and DWDM. So we have completed the amplifiers, we have completed the first point, that is the optical networks, network structure, network components we have seen. Then we have seen the optical amplifiers. So maybe the semiconductor amplifiers are there, then fiber amplifiers are there. They are using various effects. Laser effect is used. They are having the this scattering effect, which is used as for amplification. Then we are turning to the wavelength division multiplexing. Till now we are having the idea that instead of single wavelength, multiple wavelength can be transmitted parallelly over the fiber. It is called wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, it is wavelength division multiplexing, WDM. So in wavelength division multiplexing, the WDM, the fiber optic transmission technique, and that is enables the use of multiple light wavelengths or colors. Wavelengths are colors, we can call it as a color because wavelength decides the color in the visible case, as we are conversant with the visible light. So red will have 400, violet will have 700 nanometer, isn't it, wavelength. So after red there will be a orange wavelength, there will be yellow wavelength, there will be green wavelength, there will be sky blue wavelength, purple wavelength, isn't it, violet wavelength. So all these wavelengths, all these colors of the light have different wavelength. So wavelength we can name as a colors for our understanding. So wavelength division multiplexing is a fiber optic a fiber optic transmission technique that enables the use of multiple light wavelength, that uses multiple light wavelength to send data over the same medium. Same fiber is there, but that same fiber is carrying multiple wavelength. That lambda 1 is also carried by this fiber, lambda 2 is also carried by this fiber, and lambda 3 and so on. Okay, lambda 2 dash 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 lambda n. So lambda 1 to lambda n, many wavelengths are simultaneously carried by same fiber. Okay, same fiber, and this is called wavelength division multiplexing. So multiple channels can be simultaneously transmitted over the fiber. So this is wavelength division multiplexing. So this is the basic concept of wavelength division multiplexing. It is very simple, but the structure, operation, etc. is to study. Two or more wavelengths of the light can travel on one fiber. In this, two or more wavelengths of the light can travel over one fiber, single fiber, and several signals can be transmitted. Several signals can be transmitted. One wavelength can carry many signals. Multiple wavelengths can carry several signals, can be transmitted in optical waveguide, differing with the differing wavelengths, differing frequency on the optical spectrum. Several wavelengths can be transmitted with different wavelengths. Wavelength is changing means frequency is changing. Wavelength and frequency are inversely proportional to each other. In early fiber optic transmission, as we have discussed while taking the discussion, we have taken the example that early fiber transmission system, the information onto strands of glass through the simple pulses of the light. So there is a glass strand, that is optical fiber, and we send pulses of ones. 1 is sent, 0 is sent, 1 is sent. Okay, so this is 1, this is 0, this is 1, and so on. Though on and off of the light source is made, intensity of the light source is changed. One intensity is assigned for one digit, and another level of the intensity is assigned for the another digit. Whenever receiver receives one intensity level, it assumes that this digit is transmitted, and it receives the another intensity level, it assumes that it is 0 transmitted. It is decided by the designer. That transmitter receiver is knowing that this level of intensity of light is 1, this level of intensity of light is 0. So this is in the early optical fiber transmission system, which put the information into the strand of the glass through the simple pulses of the light. The light was flashed on and off, isn't it? Light was just flashed on and off. The source is made on and off to represent the digital ones and zeros. The actual light could be almost of any wavelength. So the wavelength is not important in those cases. In the early optical fiber transmission cases, the wavelength is not important. Wavelength is important in case of only the efficiencies, coupling efficiencies. That source is of this wavelength, so detector must be of the same wavelength to have the efficient detection. So that much is the care taken in case of those early fiber optic transmission systems. Wavelength is not important. You can run the same signal system for wavelength lambda 1. So you have to change the source on the lambda 1, change the detector on the lambda 1, detector for lambda 1. If you same system, you can operate on lambda 2. You can use source of lambda 2 and detector of lambda 2. Same system will not change anything. That means system can work on lambda 1, system can work on lambda 2, system can work on lambda 3. So system has capability to work on lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 2. So why not the system is used simultaneously for lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3? That is created the WDM. Okay. So initially there was system having the source and detector on the fibers. Source can send lambda 1 and detector we have to use of lambda 1, because detector can detect either lambda 1 detector detects lambda 1, other detector detects lambda 2, one source generates lambda 1, other source generates lambda 2, and what the source has to generate? The intensity of the light variation, that is one intensity for one symbol, another intensity for another symbol, 0 and 1. and in this way on off of the source can be done. So same system is kept, repeaters are there, joints are there, couplers are there, fiber is there, only we change the source from lambda 1 to lambda 2. Then we have to change the detector also, lambda 1 to lambda 2. So source detector pair is changed, same system can be used for different wavelength. For lambda 3, lambda n, any wavelength we can use. There is not much difference. So if the system is able to use for all these, then we can have the wavelength division multiplexing also. If we are having the addition or mixing of all the wavelengths with the help of some device like coupler, then we can have multiple sources here, lambda 1, lambda 2 up to lambda n, and all the sources will have different signals, and all the signals of all the sources can be mixed together, coupled with the to the fiber through the proper coupler. And fiber can carry lambda 1 as well as lambda 2 as well as lambda 3 dash 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 lambda n, and same infrastructure is used for multiple number of wavelengths, and this increase the very huge bandwidth. Already the optical fiber systems are having enormous bandwidth, and again in that if WDM is used, that enormous bandwidth is multifold times, 100 times increased. So in hundreds of gigahertz bandwidth goes into hundreds of terahertz, tens of terahertz, hundreds of terahertz, and this we have seen in the advantages. We have discussed this in the advantages, isn't it, in the first chapter, second point. So the early fiber optical system, which is using the same wavelength, single wavelength, is now changed to multiple wavelengths. Okay, so as it is almost any wavelength it can run with, so that's why any wavelength, multiple wavelength can be mixed together. So this is the figure which has two wavelength interface filter demultiplexer, that is fiber end device or green rod lens device. So this is the demultiplexer and this is the multiplexer. So in which suppose mixture of lambda 1 and lambda 2 is inputted to the fiber device, which is the demultiplexer. It is having the filter, optical filter, which is having the dichroic properties, dichromic, and it can reflect one wavelength and it can pass another wavelength. So this is the optical filter which is having reflection of wavelength, one wavelength, and transmission of other wavelength, so that it can separate out two wavelengths. So lambda 1 and lambda 2 mixed together are getting propagated on main fiber, and to the main fiber we have connected this demultiplexer filter. That filter will separate out, reflect one wavelength on one side, and it will transmit another wavelength on another side. So on another side we can connect the fiber to collect lambda 1, on this side we can connect the fiber to collect lambda 2. So this slanting angle of the filter is made such that if it is 45, it can reflect into 45 direction. Okay. So this is the demultiplexer. Two wavelengths mixed together, separated, demultiplexed. Similarly, there is a green rod lens which is having the lambda 1 per lambda 2 input, the filter which reflects one signal, which transmit another signal, lambda 2 and lambda 1. So they are separated. Okay, and as this distance is from mirror to the green rod lens is 0.25 each, so it can have the sinusoidal path and it can be adjusted for exactly for collection of the signal. So it will have sinusoidal path. It is also having sinusoidal path for lambda 1. It is also having the sinusoidal reflected path for lambda 2. So distance between the exact location of the fibers to be connected is fixed. So that's why the green rod lenses can be used. So if these are the demultiplexers, similarly the multiplexers also can be done just by employed just by addition of the fibers. Multiple signal launching is there, but important is to how to separate the wavelengths. These are the devices for the demultiplexing. Okay. So wavelength division multiplexing, the WDM is a technique in the fiber. Okay, it is the wavelength division multiplexing. WDM is a technique in the fiber optics transmission that uses multiple light wavelengths to send data over same medium. In simple language, wavelength division multiplexing WDM is a technique in a fiber optics system, transmission system, that uses multiple light wavelengths to send the data over same medium. Okay. WDM does it with the help of multiplexing multiple optical carrier signals through the single optical fiber channel by varying the wavelengths of laser lights. Okay, how it is achieving that? It does it the help of multiplexing. As the demultiplexing separates out the signal, multiplexing combines the signal. There are combiners and splitters. Couplers are there. Some couplers combines the signals and some couplers separate out, splits the signal. We have seen the couplers, we have studied in the 5th chapter the couplers, isn't it? So while studying the couplers, we have in detail discussed this about the couplers. So multiplexing is there in which the multiple optical carrier signals through the single optical fiber channel can be passed by varying wavelength of the laser lights. So for one wavelength, for one channel one wavelength is used, for another channel another wavelength is used, and all the channels are simultaneously transmitted over the fiber, and each channel is having different wavelengths, so they will not mix together. So WDM allows the communication in both direction in the fiber cable. So it is bidirectional. WDM can be WDM allowing the communication in both the direction. It is bidirectional. Again, the bidirectional signal can be separated with the help of couplers, isolators. So multiplexing and demultiplexing is there in unidirectional system. So still we are considering the WDM. We will consider DWDM afterwards. Okay, we are having DWDM also. So WDM and DWDM is our point. So multiplexing and demultiplexing are unidirectional system. So these are the signal inputs. Okay, they are multiplexed together using multiplexer, and they are carried by the main fiber to the receiver, and there is a demultiplexer which separates out these signals and connects to the individual subscriber, individual fiber of the channel, and then they are communicated to the respective destination, and this is the unidirectional. Okay. Similarly, from other side there is a multiple number of signals, wavelengths which are multiplexed, carried by the fiber and demultiplexed and separated out for all the signals. So this is unidirectional, but the fiber are always the bidirectional. It can be used. Okay, WDM, it can be used as bidirectional. There is a mux demux on one side, there is a mux demux on other side. Okay, multiplexer demultiplexer is there on one side, similarly multiplexer demultiplexer is there on the other side. So it can multiplex the incoming signals and transmit over same fiber, and there the other side the demultiplexer can demultiplex it, and on other side there is a multiplexer which multiplex the many signals and transmit over same fiber, and the first side there is a demultiplexer which separate out the signal. Okay, so this is a bidirectional. So multiplexer and demultiplexing in the bidirectional system. So WDM is bidirectional also. Okay, so it is bidirectional system. This is the block diagram for the bidirectional communication. So WDM, process of wavelength division multiplexing in WDM, in which the optical signals from different sources or transponders are combined by multiplexer, which is essentially an optical combiner. So in couplers there are combiners. The different wavelengths are combined together for transmission in the combiner, in the WDM. In process of wavelength division multiplexer, multiplexing is achieved with the combiner. Different wavelengths are combined together for the transmission. When they are combined, the combined signal is transmitted via the single optical fiber strand. After combining, the transmitted signal is transmitted via the single optical fiber strand. At the receiving end, the demultiplexer splits the incoming beam into its components, and each of the beam is sent to corresponding receivers by filtering out. So this is the process. First the multiplexing is there, combining is there with the combiner, then it is sent over the same fiber. All the multiplexed signal, combined signal is sent over the same fiber. At receiver there is demultiplexing, and each component is separate out, and each component is sent to the corresponding receiver. So this is the process of the WDM. Then types of the WDM. WDM system divided into three types, three different wavelength patterns. Normal wavelength division multiplexing, which we are discussing. It is also called bidirectional wavelength division multiplexing, that is BWDM. WDM or BWDM. Then there is a coarse wavelength division multiplexing, and also the dense wavelength division multiplexing, that is the DWDM. So WDM is there and DWDM is there. So these are the types. Normal wavelength division multiplexing, that is WDM or BWDM it is called, and then the coarse division multiplexing is there, and then the dense wavelength division multiplexing is there. So in wavelength division multiplexing, there are various wavelengths are there. Again, within the single wavelength, there may be a channel creation. So this concept is used. Within the fiber, multiple wavelengths are sent. This is WDM. This is bidirectional, BWDM. If already multiple wavelengths are running, propagating in the same fiber, it is increasing a large amount of the bandwidth. Again, further, within the same wavelength, there are multiple wavelengths, 1 to n. Within each wavelength, within same wavelength, there may be creation of the channels by some techniques, and that leads to coarse wavelength division multiplexing, dense wavelength division multiplexing. Okay. Now we will stop here. Tomorrow we will continue the same, that is chapter 6, and the assignments I will upload. Notes I have given to you yesterday. I have uploaded. You might have found it on the Google Classroom. So go through the notes. If any queries are there, immediately ask. And the question bank I will upload today. So 4th chapter, 5th chapter question bank simultaneously we have to attempt, and 6th chapter after that, and 4th chapter I have uploaded, 5th and 6th I have to upload, and after that there is on Monday, tomorrow I will try to upload 1 or 2 or all the practicals, so that you can check those practicals, and then you have to submit the submissions. So be prepared with the journal, okay, and projects also, simulate the projects, and for all the subjects you are be prepared for the term work submission. because on 13 it is last date and 14 examinations, practical examination starts. So for practical examination, do not waste much time. You be ready and immediately quickly you will have the practical, because you are having the continuous assessment. Only the checking of whatever you have done is you upload the video of the project and it will be checked and you will be asked some questions online. So immediately you will be relieved for the study of the end sem examination. So quickly it should be processed. So you should be ready with all the things to avoid the time wastage of your side. For your time saving, you should be ready, so that you will be immediately turn to the examination preparation. Okay, so we will again meet tomorrow for the next part of this unit 6. So I am stopping here. Thank you.